Hi everyone, I'm Kathy with Your Voice.
Hello everybody, this is Abuna Gregory with Your Voice.
As you all know, our dear and beloved Pope Shenouda III has recently departed to be with the Lord.
It is a great loss for all of us, but on the other side also, it is a great gain that we have lived in the era of this wonderful shepherd.
Many are wondering what happens next. What's the process of electing a new Pope? Let's find out.
Once the Pope has departed and the patriarchal chair is vacant, two processes start at the same time. The process of forming the candidates for the new papacy and the process of forming the voters who will vote on these candidates. After these are formed, the election happens on a certain day. Out of it comes 3 names, which goes the following Sunday to the liturgy, and then by the guidance of God, one of these 3 names will be chosen to be the new Pope.
So how is the list of candidates for the new Pope formed?
The candidates list is formed in the following process. Within 7 days from the departure of the Pope, the Mayor Patriarch, who is the most senior bishop in terms of years of bishopric in the Holy Synod, is taking over to be the Mayor Patriarch, and he forms with him being the head a committee of 18 members. Half of these members are bishops and metropolitans, and the other half of it are members of the General Coptic Council. They choose candidates, by recommending names. Each candidate has to be recommended by 6 names from the bishops or 12 names from the General Coptic Council. And all of these are put on a list, and that's the list of candidates for the papacy. This list is checked by the Mayor Patriarch for its validity, and hence we have a list of candidates to the new papacy. The list should have names between 5 and 7 names, not less than 5 and no more than 7 names.
So can anyone be a candidate for being a Pope?
The answer is no. Not everybody can be a candidate for the papacy. The person has to be Egyptian Coptic Orthodox. He has to be older than 40 years old. If he's a bishop, he has to be one of the general bishops. If he's a monk, he has to be at least 15 years in the monasticism. And also we need to add, if a person is a monk, he became a monk after the departure of his wife, he has been married before, then he's not eligible. So the person has to be never been married before.
Now that the candidates are collected, what do we do with that list?
Now that we know the qualities of the candidates that can be eligible to be on the list, once the list is formed, then it's put on the Patriarchate door and on the diocese door for 15 days. During these 15 days, any one of the eligible voters, and we'll talk about what does it mean eligible voters later on, can challenge any name on the list. Then the committee, which is headed by the Mayor Patriarch and the 18 members, half bishops, half General Council members, takes this investigation and excludes any name from the candidates on the list. After that, we have a list with 5 to 7 names, not less than 5 and not more than 7. And these will be the candidates for the papacy. A place is set and a date is set for voting that will not be more than a month away. And these events are published in 3 major newspapers so that everybody knows what is going on.
So now that we have our list of 5 to 7 candidates, who votes for them?
So who votes on the candidates that were formed? As we just said, we formed the candidates list. From the beginning, we have 2 entities working at the same time, and they do their work within 2 months from the papal vacancy. We formed the candidate list with 1 entity. Now the other entity is the nomination or the nominating committee. The nominating committee has 3 clergy members, and it has 2 members of the General Council, and their job, as these ones formed the candidates, the job of the nominating committee is to form the voters. The voters are all the bishops, all the metropolitans, and all the heads of the monasteries. Also, 24 priests chosen from Cairo, and 7 priests chosen from Alexandria. We have the spiritual council in Cairo. Then we have all the current and the previous members of the General Coptic Council. We have all the current and the previous ministers, Christian ministers in Egypt. We have all the members of the People's Council, and we have heads of journalists, of journals, editors-in-chief, and journalists. And this list falls within 1,000 people.
So now that we have our candidates and we also have our voters, what's next?
Now, after we have the voters formed and the candidates formed, we form a committee called the Election Committee. It is headed by the Mayor Patriarch, that we talked about in the very beginning, Amba Pachomius, and 3 clergy members nominated by the Holy Synod, and 3 lay leaders nominated by the nominating committee that formed the voters list. Now we have a list of voters, the list of candidates. Now we issue registration cards to the list of voters, which they will use on the appointed day for the election. So on the election day, they go to the appointed place, the appointed time. The voting is from 9 to 5, and they hand in the registration card, and they receive a paper that has the list of the candidates, which has on it between 5 and 7 names. They cross out the names they do not vote for, and they leave no more than 3 names on the paper, and they hand it in. If there is any absentee that doesn't vote, he loses that chance, and the voting is considered valid no matter what the number of voters are. Then the votes are tallied secretly, and out of this comes the 3 top names that collected the most votes. And this is how we have the 3 names for that people voted for.
So now that we have the 3 final candidates, is that the end of the process?
Yes, the process of the choice is finished. We have now 3 candidates, and we go to the liturgy the following Sunday to hold the liturgy with the 3 names being on the altar. And at the end of the liturgy, a young deacon, blindfolded, chooses one of the names, and that would be the new Pope. May God bless the Coptic people with a new shepherd that will shepherd his people from now on.